Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you, please do your own research. All media used was found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings. Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Mahogany Spirit coming to you from the UK. Today I'm really going to be talking about Miss Meghan Markle. I'm going to be responding to that statement that she made to the class of 2020, the alumni. I'm going to be talking about it because I feel there's so much hypocrisy going on with this woman. It's just so disappointing that she really did not go for it when it came to Black Lives Matters. No, she didn't. She talked about how her teacher had always told her to remember to put others' needs above her own fears. Well, we all know that that's not quite true, because she did stand there in South Africa, as I've said in the past, and state quite clearly no one answers her if she's okay, looking all doe-eyed, which I just felt, how hypocritical. You're standing in a land which is absolutely beautiful, but you're actually standing at a point where there's extreme poverty. All sorts of stuff is going on within that area where you had gone to visit. Your husband's walked through landmines, just as his mother, Princess Diana, had done. And both of you, both her and Harry, ended that tour literally just speaking about themselves. And it was indulgent, it was selfish then, and it brought a disdain and taste in my mouth that I felt after watching that I needed to voice my opinions, because this was extremely hypocritical and it was wrong, and the world watched in shock as they both done that. It was just really wrong. You know, this extremely privileged woman has gone over to South Africa and has spoken to those people, saying that she was a woman of colour herself, made this grand speech, and then just ended her tour of South Africa literally talking about herself. Well, yet again, she's addressing the class of 2020, her old school, the alumni, and she's just talking about herself. She started off by saying again that she was nervous. And she really did kind of like emphasise that. She was clutching her chest. She was doing the usual movements, looking around, you know, actually trying to look more distressed than she probably really was, you know. And then she went on to touch upon the LA riots, which there she then again exposed her actual age, because she said she was 12 or 11, and she actually does remember the LA riots. That's what she claimed anyway. And then she said she independently drove home, or she said as she pulled up. Actually, that's what I will say. She said as she pulled up to her house, she witnessed a tree being burnt to the ground, and she really remembered it. And I'm thinking to myself, 12, 11, was it even legal for you to be driving a vehicle independently on your own in LA during a riot? Would your parents really allow you to do that? She had to be older. She had to be at least 16 years old, maybe 15. I'm actually not sure of the legal age that you could drive in 1992 during those LA riots. But she touched upon that. She also talked about rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding again. I'm wondering what she actually meant by rebuilding. She said that if the infrastructure is broken, then the people are broken. Does she mean the racist infrastructure needs to be rebuilt over and over and over again? I don't know what that actually meant. What I found the most intriguing was the fact that she never really elaborated on racism at all, considering this is a woman that did actually leave the UK under the guise of she had experienced extreme racism and was being racially abused by the media. She didn't really elaborate on racism, really. You know, she talked about the riot in LA, and she talked about how sorry she was for the class of 2020 to have to experience what's going on in the world and that it hasn't been repaired or fixed, but she never really elaborated on it. And I would have expected someone that had made such a big fuss in the UK to actually be prepared to talk a little bit more in depth about what had gone on and really kind of touched upon that. And in fact, I'm not even sure, as I sit here and suggest that would have been the right forum for her to actually have that discussion. Maybe she could have had that discussion within another statement of itself, that it didn't have to be in conjunction with addressing the class of 2020, if you see what I mean. I don't know. I mean, you tell me what you think, but this woman has to at least be 42 to 43 years old. That is exactly what I think. There's just no way that she is a 38, 39-year-old woman. I think she's actually lowered her age bracket, and she tells untruths. She simply cannot be that age, you know. And this is all mixed in with the fact that she claims that drones are flying overhead of her mansion. She claims that she's been followed in unmarked cars. I find all of this, as I've stated in previous videos, I just do not think that any of that is true whatsoever. I think it's all fabricated. That is my personal opinion. I really do feel that Miss Markle is self-obsessed. If she hadn't have spoken so much about herself when making that speech to the class of 2020, I don't think she would have revealed her true age. But because she's so self-obsessed and it's all me, I just personally feel she tripped up. I really do. I feel she tripped up. But that's what happens when you're constantly talking about yourself. And then people are able to pick holes in it. I mean, I was appalled when she stood in South Africa and said no one asks her if she's all right. 2 days prior to that, she was dancing with African women, saying that she was a woman of colour and that she understands their pain and she's here to represent them. And then she snatched all of that away as she stood there and said no one understands her pain and no one answers her if she's all right. You know, and then there's the whole hypocrisy of the private jets that they take. Her and Harry talking about the carbon footprint, telling every one of us to be more conscious and aware of our carbon footprints and to fly less while they are boarding private jets. I mean, the whole thing is hypocritical. I'm going to talk about this because that's really how I feel. It's a poor representation. If she claims she's really experienced racism, she should elaborate on it then. She should elaborate on it, and she should be discussing how we as a people can actually combat that deadly disease. It's a deadly cancerous disease, racism. She should have more words to say, which she doesn't appear to have at all. It's just always the same rhetoric with her. And as I said, not a great actress because she was looking around. She spoke about herself. She clutched her chest. She was looking up as though she was pulling words literally out of the ceiling. It just didn't seem to come from a very organic place. It all appeared to be staged. And she really did focus on herself. This is a woman that just wants all the benefits and doesn't really appear to want to do any work whatsoever. Her address to the class of 2020, I feel, was extremely lazy, very self-indulgent. She did not cover or give them any real advice at all. Empathy does not address racism. I think everyone, after witnessing and seeing the scenes that we've all seen over the past all week, understands that this problem has become a global problem. And Meghan and Harry spoke about that global issue and used their platform in the UK to speak about that global issue as they left for Canada and then went on to LA. That's exactly what they done. I felt then, and I still feel now, that they used that narrative of racism to leave the royal fold, and it was always the plan. That is what I felt then, and I still feel that now. The fact that she hasn't come harder and elaborated on it as much as you would expect her to do, someone who claims to have experienced racism, you'd expect her to actually talk about the racism she claims she experienced in the UK, is just quite shocking, really. Because in all honesty, she hasn't done that, because the reality of it is that she didn't experience that kind of racism. I suspect that was made up, just as her age has been made up. Anyway, guys, you tell me what you think. Like, comment and subscribe. If I've said anything incorrect, if she was able to drive at 12 or 11 in LA during 1992, please let me know. But like I say, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, bye.